Friends, wherever we are, may we speak and hear in the name of God, who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Well, I think it's fair to say that they didn't train us for this. And after the chaos of last week, it's shocking to stand now in an empty church talking to a camera rather than the gorgeous faces who normally fill our pews. And it feels especially sad given that this is Mothering Sunday, a day which should be all about celebrating our relationships. Instead, it feels like the joy of church has been replaced with uncertainty, and for some of us, fear. But although we may be isolating at the moment, we are not alone. It seems completely upside down, doesn't it? But isolation is actually the best way of standing together at the moment. By socially distancing ourselves from others, we are showing compassion towards the most vulnerable in our society and towards the extraordinary doctors and nurses who care for us. In this way, we are being invited to make our whole lives an offering of love at the moment, a sacrifice, something holy. Simply sitting in an armchair at home may not feel heroic at the moment, but it is. But then, what could be more appropriate during Lent? A season which is all about giving things up in order to grow in compassion and love. And what could be more motherly? Like motherhood, the coming weeks will feel lonely at times and deeply costly, and we will need others to support us. But perhaps there will also be unexpected joys along the way. And I wonder on this Mothering Sunday, what was motherhood like for Mary? In our Gospel reading, we've just heard that a day which should have been full of joy and love for Mary also ends up filled with uncertainty and maybe even fear. She and Joseph have gone to the temple to give thanks for the birth of Jesus, their new son, and to celebrate their new family life. But as they enter, Simeon interrupts them and speaks these strange words to Mary. This child is destined for the falling and the rising of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be opposed, so that the inner thoughts of many will be revealed, and a sword will pierce your own soul too. Hearing those words, Mary must have felt afraid and terribly alone. Maybe she was angry that this man had interrupted what should have been a day of simple joys. Or perhaps she thought Simeon was just a confused old man and didn't take his warning seriously. Perhaps some of us are struggling to take the current warnings seriously too. Either way, we know that Simeon was right, and that motherhood took Mary through terrible grief before leading her to unimagined joys. But today also reminds us that Mary's life as Jesus' mother can't always have been this intense. As well as Mothering Sunday, this is also known as Refreshment Sunday, a day to rest from our Lenten fasts and to relax together. And I wonder, where did Mary find her rest? Did she ever while away a quiet afternoon feeding Jesus in the warm sunshine, or enjoy watching him grow and play? Did she ever drop him off in Joseph's workshop and dare to take some time just for herself? At night, as Jesus and his brothers and sisters slept, did Mary ever kneel and pray and just let God mother her for half an hour? In the weeks ahead, we will also need to rest, to turn off the news and enjoy the signs of spring outside our windows or in our gardens. although Helen and I will be calling everyone and working to keep people who are isolating supplied with whatever they need. If you ever feel lonely or afraid, reach out. Pick up the phone and call us or one another. Take a moment to stop and to pray and to rest in God's love. Take time to let all of these sudden changes sink in and settle, however you're feeling. Be gentle with yourselves. This will be a costly season, but I also trust that faith will emerge in new and stronger ways from it, as our love for one another and for the world finds a new shape. And as we step into this strange new season, remember too that we stand in solidarity with Christians who have gone before the way before us. Remember that the tradition of Mothering Sunday itself goes back to the 16th century, when Europe was still being plagued regularly with diseases. Remember that society endured, the church endured, and God's love endured, as it continues to endure now. None of this makes it any easier for me to stand in this empty church today. It's confusing, and it's sad, and it feels wrong. But I'm hopeful, and I'm glad that Helen and I can be here on Sundays, fumbling around with cameras and breaking the bread, until that day finally comes, as it will, when we are all gathered here again, held in God's great motherly love for all her children. So until then, stay well, stay in touch, and remember that although you may be isolating, you are never alone.